The drills I'm about to give you are literally the secret key to becoming a better boxer. If you've ever watched a real boxing match, you could see that they never stay in one place at once. But why is it that we spend so much time throwing punches in one position? Not everyone is Floyd Mayweather. Let's take it back to the basics. These boxing drills literally are done by beginners all the way up to world champions. So we still got to do them. Look, if the world champs are still doing these drills, us as beginners have to execute these boxing drills as well. As a competitive boxer for 10 plus years, I wish I started with these boxing drills at the core foundation as a beginner. It would have made me advance so much quicker in my technique. On that note, let's get into the best fundamental footwork drills to developing you as a boxer.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso.
For all the footwork drills that I'll be giving you today, no equipment will be needed, all right? I will use equipment later on in the drills, but that's just to elevate them a little bit. Just understand you do not need anything. Just your body, your mind, most important thing, and an open space. Meet me in your boxing stance. First drill I am going to give you. And before we even get into the drill, it's good to understand that repetition will be the key for you on getting better at these drills. So try to execute each drill at the minimum a full round, all right? So round, whatever you like it to be, 3 minutes or 2 minutes. The breaks, it can be 1 minute, it could be 30 seconds, whatever is best for you, but you gotta hammer these drills with repetition. You just can't do it for 10, 15 seconds every day. Try to execute each drill a full round. First boxing drill I'm going to give you. Meet me in your boxing stance right here. Remember, just a quick reminder, I'm in orthodox position. I'm a right-handed boxer. If you're in a southpaw position, that means you're a left-handed boxer. In order for me to relate to my orthodox and southpaw boxers, I'll be using vocabulary front and back, not as much as left and right. Meet me in that boxing stance. Let's work on smaller confined movements, all right? You're going to do this for me. You're going to take a step forward. You're going to take a step back. You're going to take a step to the outside, my left, or the inside, my right, all right? Again, hands up, elbows tight. Let's try this drill slowly. So again, I like to go for 3-minute rounds. For a full round, I'll be in my boxing stance. I'm going to step forward, step back, step outside, step inside. Again, step forward, step back, step outside, step inside. This may look super simple and super basic, but the attention to detail is what everybody misses. Hands up, you step forward, step back, step outside, step inside. So first detail I want to give you in that strong boxing stance, you actually want to be on this back toe the whole time, heel elevated off of the ground. When I go flat on this back heel, it's hard for me to move my feet at the last minute. And in boxing, your reaction, your reflex is super key and super important. Elevate that heel. It'll make these steps a little more automatic. So we step forward, we step back, we step outside, we step inside. We're working in small movements, right? Small confined areas right now with these smaller movements. Forward, back, outside, inside. And another key thing that you should understand, especially for my beginners, any direction you go, that foot will always lead. So just a quick reminder, and we covered this in my beginner's boxing Bible as well, but just a quick reminder, if you go forward, front foot first, back foot follows. If you go back, back foot first. If I go left, left foot first. If I go right, right foot first. Again, forward, front foot moves first. If I move back, back foot. If I go to my left, left foot. If I go to my right, right foot. And a quick reminder on the second rule of your footwork. If one foot moves, the other foot follows the same amount. So if I step forward 3 inches with this front foot, back foot follows 3 inches. All right. Common mistake is people tend to step with the first foot and bring the other foot over a little too much. They tend to step with one direction and bringing this over a little too much. What happens? You break up that boxing stance. So you want to keep that in mind as well. All right. Stepping forward, back, left, and right. Non-stop throughout a whole round. Next detail I want to cover. We tend to throw punches, shadow boxing, with speed. We never focus on the speed of our footwork. During this drill, try to keep a pretty fast, intense pace per each step. What does that mean? Doesn't mean that you're stepping boom, 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 but you're executing each move separately at a full 100% max effort. So it'll look like this: forward, back, outside, inside. If you're a little more advanced boxer, I'm going to ask you to give me a little movement in between, little head movement. Boom, 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 boom. Or you could even bounce on the toes. I like to bounce because I like to build up the muscles in the arches of my feet, being lighter on my feet, lighter on my toes. I could step forward, I could step back, I could step outside, I could step inside. I'll drill this non-stop. All right, for a full round. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so next boxing drill I got for you, we're working on moving in small spaces or smaller movements in those steps. Let's work on bigger movements. Let's just work on moving forward and back. And as you can see, I set up 3 cones right here. Look, you don't need any equipment for this drill. But if you want to use your own cones or use another object, or you could just use your imagination, but understand you need 3 different points right here. So this is cone 1 or point 1, cone 2, and cone 3. For this drill, you're going to be in your boxing stance at cone number 1. Facing forward, since we're going to go forward and back for now, you're going to go in bigger strides and bigger movements all the way up to cone number 3, back to cone 1. Then cone 2, back to cone 1. Always going back into this first cone. This is where you start. Then the second cone. Then the first, then the third. So 1, 3, 1, 2. From the start to the end, to the start, to the middle right here. So these are bigger movements that you're going to be executing when you're actually boxing somebody. So it's good to just practice the forward and back and changing directions for a full round, just like we talked about. Whew, works your cardio pretty good as well. Let's focus on the details right here now. So boxing stance. If you're moving forward and back, front foot will engage it, back foot will follow. You want to make sure your feet don't come together too much during this drill. That's one of the most common mistakes when moving forward and back in bigger strides. Letting your feet come together and touch right here. You want to maintain a strong boxing stance at all times. So what does that mean when your feet start to come together? 2 things are happening. You're either going too fast or you're trying to go too big with your strides. Try to find that right balance when moving forward and back so you could always stay true in your boxing stance. Why do you need to do that? Because at any given moment when you're moving forward and you're moving back, you need to be able to stop, throw a punch, move your head, turn a different direction. But if your feet are together and you need to stop, then you're going to be off balance in your boxing stance. So try to maintain this position at all times at your starting point. At the end, back to the start, back to the middle. Getting comfortable moving forward and back in your boxing stance. Next detail that people tend to miss right here too. If I was moving forward and back at an opponent, or an opponent was moving forward and back at me, what would be the most common thing or common punch to stop them from coming at me? Give you another second to think about it. A jab would stop somebody from coming at you. A straight punch down the middle. So you want to train yourself to and be prepared for that jab to come at you. So if you're moving forward, I'm going to have my front hand out a little bit more to gauge this distance, to be prepared for a straight punch to stop me. All right? Just keep that in mind. Little details versus having the hands down, moving forward, or too low, or having them too high right here in the high guard. We want to prep for the most logical thing to come at us. All right, look, boxing is an unpredictable sport. You do have unpredictable opponents, but again, train for success. Train for the most logical thing to come at you, and then train for the other things as well. Stuff we always need to be constantly thinking about as we develop as boxers, even at the beginning stage to the most advanced stage. So you went forward and back for a full round. Now, next drill, simple. We'll go left to right, outside and inside. All right, boxing stance here. We're at our starting point, cone number 1. We're gonna move all the way to the outside one, to the left side, move all the way to the start. Then we go middle, and then to the start. And we're gonna get comfortable moving right to left, changing directions every time we hit a cone right here. So keep in mind right here, it's hard to maintain this closed off boxing stance as you move left to right in big strides. So it is very common that we open up just a little bit when moving left to right, especially when you got the ropes behind you. If you're going left, remember left foot's gonna lead. If you're going right, right foot is going to lead, giving yourself success at stopping in your stance at any given moment and needing to throw punches or to move our head. So the next drill, you're gonna do this nonstop. Left to right, changing directions at any given moment. Little detail when it comes to this one as well. If I'm boxing somebody and they are moving left to right, what's the most common punch that I would most likely throw to stop them from going left to right? Give you another second to guess. A hook. To stop them from moving left to right, I would most likely throw a hook to the head or to the body. So if you're moving left to right, prep yourself for that hook by having the hands on the side a little bit more. My beginners, even my advanced boxers, a good detail you don't want to miss. Make sure you hit this drill going left to right, changing directions at any given moment in bigger strides. The final drill I want to give you today, we worked on small steps, keeping it basic but quick. We worked on big strides. Now let's work on small angles on the inside. So no equipment necessary, but I like to use a circle right here just because it helps me monitor every single inch that I'm moving when I'm implementing my footwork. Again, you do not need any equipment. You could visualize yourself, imagine that circle right there, or use a piece of tape to make your own circle or square. I like to start off with this drill. Let me show you the ending point of this drill. You're going to be shuffling, pivoting. Now, let's break down the little details of this. A shuffle step. I like to call it a shuffle step. Some people have different words to call this move. Use on the inside in an effort to create an angle and to give you momentum on your punch. You could shuffle forward, or you could also shuffle bop, left to right. For now, we're just gonna shuffle forward. We're gonna shuffle back. We'll also create another angle by pivoting and pivoting. I understand some people like to teach the step and pivot. Both ways are not wrong, but it's good to understand multiple ways of moving our feet. But for this drill right here, let's simplify it. We're gonna shuffle forward. We're gonna shuffle back. We're gonna pivot, keeping that foot in there. We're gonna pivot. Again, shuffle forward, shuffle back. Pivot 90, shuffle, pivot, shuffle, pivot, shuffle, pivot, and pivot non-stop for a whole round. Let's break down the details that we're missing now. boxing stance. Anytime I need to shuffle, right here. First little detail. We will actually break the rules of our footwork, all right? And if you want me to do a more defined, detail-oriented way on shuffling and creating these angles on the inside, go ahead and leave that in the comments and I'll get working on that. But for now, let's go a quick overview of the shuffle. If you need to shuffle forward, you need to tell yourself you're gonna break the rules of your footwork. Originally, if you're gonna step forward, front foot goes first, back foot follows. But if I'm gonna shuffle forward, I'm gonna push off that back foot first and move that back foot first and let that front foot follow. If I need to go back, front foot's gonna engage the movement and the back foot will follow. This helps me get a little momentum on my punches on the inside. Remember that. Break the rules of your footwork when implementing a shuffle step on the inside. Not a regular step, but a shuffle step. All right. Also, next detail that we don't want to forget, when we're creating angles closer to our opponent, for closer, we don't want our hands down. We don't want our hands open. We want our hands a little tighter on the inside, maybe even a little lower in our stance. Boom, 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 boom. For this drill, footwork only, shuffle, shuffle, pivot, pivot, shuffle, shuffle, pivot, pivot. As you get more comfortable, you start to get a little more aggressive with it. Quick recap on all the drills that we covered today. We could step in small, confined areas. We could go bigger strides, bigger movements, or we could go back to those small angles on the inside. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I really hope that your boxing is starting to develop and you're starting to fall in love with the journey of boxing, developing your craft drill by drill by drill, minute by minute by minute. Again, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, and you'll know when I'm putting up more quality content. Leave me a comment. Let me know if this drill was beneficial for you and what you want to see a little bit more of. And until next time, thank y'all for joining me today and training with me. Peace.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso.